deep within the basement of your subconscious. Something has already awakened. February 13th is not just another date. It is the moment the universe stops whispering and starts speaking in thunder. This is where subtle signs turn into undeniable shifts. We are stepping forward after a full moon that stripped illusions away, that exposed truths you may not have been ready to face. And now, as we move through the narrowest passage of the 22 portal, with Uranus standing direct at the peak of its force, the energy is no longer gentle, it is precise. It is intentional. It is activating. This alignment is not random. It is engineered at a soul level, designed to shake anyone who has been shrinking themselves, playing small, hiding their real power. If your life suddenly feels like it's under a microscope, if the ground beneath you feels like it's vibrating with urgency, if there's a pressure building that you can't logically explain, that is not anxiety. That is attunement. You are sensing the shift because you are wired for it. You were never built for a predictable, lukewarm existence. Your soul did not choose this timeline for comfort. It chose this moment, this exact convergence, because you are meant to operate when reality bends. February 13th is a fracture point. Old patterns crack, false structures collapse, masks fall, and only those who are internally prepared will. Recognize the opportunity hidden inside what looks like chaos. Where others see disruption, you are meant to see direction. Where others feel overwhelmed, you are being called into activation. Where others panic, you rise. You were designed for sudden turns, for rapid awakenings, for energetic surges that force evolution. Something is unfolding today that most people will completely miss. Only a small percentage will recognize the doorway opening in real time, and the fact that you are here, listening, means you are not meant to follow the crowds. You are meant to move before it in just a moment. We're going to go deeper into why this February 13th energy has the power to flip the script of your reality, and how you can harness it instead of resisting it. But before we continue, if you can feel this shift in your bones, take a second to like this video and subscribe. It helps this frequency reach those who are ready for it. Because this isn't content, it's activation. Find the others. Find the chosen ones who are standing at this same threshold with you, right? Now, because what is happening on this February 13th is not just another astrological update scrolling across the sky. This Uranus shift is a definitive pivot point, the moment. The gears of the universe finally click into a new direction. You can almost feel it. This is the last still frame of the old world before the momentum becomes unstoppable. And every choice you make today carries unusual weight. This is a rare window where small decisions echo louder than massive actions taken at the wrong time. A single yes, a single shift in posture, a single decision to stop shrinking. On this February 13th, hesitation costs more than it ever has. But courage multiplies exponentially. This is the day to say yes to the idea that scares you, just enough to make you feel alive again. You know the one, the thing you've been circling for weeks, maybe months, the move you've been overthinking until it felt bigger than you. Today is not about having full certainty. It's about leaning toward it anyway. Even a quiet internal decision, one no one else sees, changes how future energy lands in your life. Because once Uranus moves direct, the universe stops negotiating with your fear and starts accelerating your outcomes. Acceleration doesn't ask if you're ready. It reveals whether you are, and the 22 portal, appearing on February 13th, is not random timing. It is a bridge suspended between two entirely different energetic realities. Yesterday pulled the old debris to the surface. Tomorrow will ignite forward momentum. But today is the crossing point. The precision of this alignment is almost unsettling. It feels engineered, too exact, it's too intentional to dismiss as coincidence. And this portal is not the soft, dreamy, greeting card version of spirituality people romanticize. The 22 energy is structural, it builds, it dismantles, it demands alignment. It asks you one question: are you going to step forward, or will you wait until the door closes? Because doors like this do not stay open long, and the ones who move now move differently for the rest of the year. This day feels like a threshold, like your future has arrived early and is standing directly in front of you, demanding eye contact. There's no more looking away, no more pretending you don't see it. February 13 is pushing clarity into the corners of your life you've carefully avoided. It is shining a sharp, undeniable light on the decisions you've postponed, the conversations you delayed, the moves you kept telling yourself you'd make eventually is gone. There is an immortal frequency vibrating through this day. It makes procrastination feel physically uncomfortable, like a low electrical current under your skin that refuses to settle until you act. You may notice something strange. You start stepping out of old patterns before you even understand why. You say no faster. You detach quicker. You stop explaining yourself. Something is shifting beneath the surface of your consciousness. And this isn't moodiness. It isn't restlessness. It isn't a passing emotional wave. It's a directional mandate. You are being pulled toward choices that would have felt impossible just a week ago. And at the same time, you are suddenly done, completely done with things you tolerated for years. That is the portal effect. When the future arrives early, hesitation cannot survive the encounter because clarity is sharper than fear. This is not the kind of change that explodes through crises. It doesn't need chaos to force movement. It arrives through piercing awareness, the kind that makes staying the same feel heavier than evolving. As you move through the hours of February 13th, you may feel a quiet recognition settling in, a calm but undeniable realization. Something you once believed was permanent is actually a mismatch. Not dramatic, not chaotic, not emotional, just clear. Clear in a way that doesn't argue, clear in a way that doesn't beg, clear in a way that changes everything. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That's the crossing. That's the shift. And that's why this moment matters more than you think. It's like realizing the coat you've been wearing no longer fits your shoulders. You've been adjusting it, pulling at it, trying to convince yourself it's fine. But deep down, you've known. You have been enduring situations you've already outgrown, justifying dynamics that shrink you, adapting to environments that no longer reflect who you are becoming. And on February 13th, the illusion fractures. What you've been feeling lately wasn't random discomfort. It wasn't moodiness. It wasn't confusion. It was your intuition tugging at your sleeve gently at first, then urgently trying to pull you away from a version of yourself that has already expired. We often label these periods as rough patches, but this isn't a rough patch. This is recognition. Your spirit moved on weeks ago. Your mind is just now catching up. When Uranus turns direct, it becomes impossible to unsee what you've been avoiding. The truth stops whispering and starts standing in the center of the room. And here's the powerful part. This is not the beginning of a disaster. It's the end of pretending. The moment clarity lands, your attachment to the old life begins to weaken on its own. You don't have to force detachment. You don't have to wrestle yourself into letting go. Truth does the heavy lifting. Once you see the misalignment clearly on February 13th, you cannot go back to compressing yourself into shapes that don't serve your evulsion. The shift begins. Internally, quietly, it's the steady unraveling of a story that no longer matures the person you are becoming in this very second. One of the most profound aspects of today's energy is how it rearranges your values without dramatic announcements. For months, while Uranus was retrograde, your evolution was happening behind the scenes. In silence, your standards recalibrated. Your preferences refine themselves. The kind of energy you tolerate in your personal space quietly shifted. You may have noticed it, losing interest in old routines, feeling detached from priorities that once consumed you, but you didn't act, because the outer world hadn't confirmed what your inner world already knew. Now, on February 13th, that confirmation arrives. As the energy turns direct, your internal upgrades are ready to reflect outward. And that's why today feels strange. What used to excite you now feels flat. What once felt important now feels hollow. And new impulses are rising to the surface. Impulses that have been waiting for this exact, energetic permission slip to reveal themselves. You are being pulled toward authenticity, toward alignment, toward a version of yourself that doesn't need to be edited to be accepted. And once that pull begins, there is no returning to who you were, only forward. You are being pulled toward risks that once felt impossible to carry. Because when your values evolve, your destiny has no choice but to evolve with them. What you tolerated over the last few months feels 10 times heavier today. The compromises, the half commitments, the silent resentments, they don't sit the same anymore. And at the same time, what you secretly wanted, the move, the leap, the bold decision, suddenly feels closer, not easy, but reachable. That's the value shift happening in real time. February 13th is not subtle. This portal acts as an amplifier. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take, it echoes louder in the unseen field than usual. This is why intention matters so much today, not from fear, but from